Baladash Maladore. Greetings, traveller. I'm going to pose a question to my audience that I have done so many times before, but on this occasion I feel that I can word it better. What is it about nudity that is inappropriate for children? Nudity will often get lumped in the same category as violence or sex, usually the latter. However, I can understand what it is about violence and sex that would make it inappropriate. Violence is causing extreme harm to the other person, whereas humans have a natural reaction to find blood and gore usually unpleasant. And when a small child cannot tell the difference between fantasy and reality, this can traumatise them. With sex, it is an adult activity that is the process of reproduction. So if a child doesn't understand it and just starts mimicking the activity without being educated, this in later life can result in unwanted pregnancies and STDs. But nudity doesn't have the same effects as violence or sex. The only two problems I can think of would be either A, cold weather, or B, cultural scorn or mocking. Cold weather shouldn't be an issue, as you don't need to keep a child covered in clothes 100% of the time just because a small percentage of that time it is cold. In the most populated countries of the world, including my own, we have both summer and winter seasons, and as such it is at least warm enough sometimes enough not to require clothes. This can be taught to a child easily, as is evident with naturists such as myself. For cultural scorn and mocking, this is the case of circular reasoning. We mock and scorn people who are nude in public and sometimes on private property that can be seen from public view because it is a taboo. And we teach it as a taboo because we get mocked and scorned for it. It is nothing more than a self-fulfilling prophecy invented by humans, which can also be taught in terms of context. If you can teach a child not to wear shorts and sandals in the snow, you can just as easily teach a child that there is a necessary time and place for nudity because of how other people react, without the reaction necessarily being logical. To go off on a tangent, I think Lacey Green's videos show, if anything, that our society seems more tolerant of rude behaviour, such as gawking or staring at sexually stimulated areas of the body, when those areas are even partially on show. Yet at the same time, we can suggest that being nude or even wearing a short skirt, or having your head uncovered as the case may be, is not an excuse for rape. If we can suggest that men can and should have enough self-control to not rape a person just because they find some body parts attractive that are even partially exposed, then why shouldn't we expect and encourage people to stop gawking regardless of whether the stimulus is there or not? I suspect that many more people would be comfortable with being nude in public if there wasn't such a cultural scorn on it. Even if they prefer clothes for physical comfort reasons, if there was not the culture of accepted consequences, or as I like to call it, the they deserve to be looked at in a rude way culture, they would not have such an issue. More to the point, I would like to, like anyone who suggests that nudity is harmful to children, to provide me with sources, links and scientific articles to back up your point. Because from a source that I have found, scientific testing shows that nudity is not in any way harmful to children, and so I don't think it should be treated as such. Of course, I'm not telling any parents in my audience what to do necessarily. I'm just making my case from a logical standpoint so that they can take it from there in whichever direction they choose. But what does my audience think? Is there anything to suggest that nudity is inappropriate for children as violence and sex or even obscene language is? Let me know what you think in the comment section or video responses, and please rate this video if you like it. But for now, Adiel Shala.